Shut down all the nukes! Shut down all the nukes! Shut down all the nukes! こんにちは。こんにちは。今日はたまたま衆議院選挙総選挙の在外投票日の第1日目ですから、ここサンフランシスコ日本領事館で、日本人で在外投票権を持っている人たちは今日から、投票できます。私もこのラリーが始まる直前に投票してまいりました。So we are here again for the 63rd 11th of monthly rally. Every month we are doing for over 5 years now. We are here standing and protesting against the Japanese and the USA's policy for the nuclear power, nuclear weapons, and the militarism. I personally like to quit this rally, but I can't and we cannot, because the situation in Japan, the Fukushima Daiichi condition, everything are deteriorating, so that we still have to stand here to remind you and people that the Fukushima disaster is still ongoing. And we are totally against Japan, Abe Prime Minister's changing to the pacifist constitution, so that Japanese military, yes, they said the self-defense force go out freely to join the war and then killing the human being. Okay, again, let's review from the last rally, September 11th, and then today, October 11th. The first good news that November 22nd, that was Chiba District Court ruled that TEPCO has a responsibility to pay the compensation to the victims of the people who ran from the Fukushima to Chiba. The focus was TEPCO and also government both has a responsibility.
Fuck Trump. Fuck Trump.
But court dismissed the claims of the responsibility of government. And then again, another victory, which is yesterday actually, October 10th, at the Fukushima local district court ruled that government and TEPCO both are responsible for this triple meltdown. They must pay the compensation to the victims. This is a much better verdict than the Chiba verdict. And this is a third victory that we have since the March 11th, 2011. One is also this year, Maebashi, Gunma Prefecture had ruled out that TEPCO and the government are responsibility. And this Fukushima's court focused for the government and TEPCO if they could prevent this disaster. If they see the foreseen for this disaster, and if they try to prevent this happen, court ruled that they didn't. They could prevent this disaster, but they didn't. So that this is a totally victory for the, I think, Fukushima victims and the people who is standing against the restart nuclear power plant. But always in a higher court, already I think the Chiba court, they appealed, the government appealed already, and TEPCO appealed. So, you know, I want to see the highest court giving the same verdict as even local district court gave. This is only 30 class action in Japan, and then this is the largest one, this Fukushima court, like 1,800 people, many people. So I'm so glad that win. Good news. But also after good news is the bad news. October, I think 6, no, I'm sorry. October 4th, yes, Japan NRA, Nuclear Regulation Authority, approved TEPCO, the plan to go ahead to restart another plant, 2 reactors, which in Kashiwazaki Kariwa in Niigata Prefecture. What is a TEPCO? Who is a TEPCO? TEPCO is a company which couldn't manage the Fukushima Daiichi. They caused this disaster. They were not capable to operate Fukushima Daiichi. They as a company hid the truth of the meltdown. They tried to make this severe accident make much lighter, so even they didn't use the meltdown, the word of meltdown, until May. TEPCO lied, and TEPCO wasn't capable to operate the Fukushima Daiichi. Then how the government authority can approve to TEPCO to operate Niigata Kashiwazaki Kariwa 2 reactors? Fortunately, the governor of the Niigata liked to review the investigate for the facts why the Fukushima Daiichi happened. For maybe takes 2-3 years, so they don't want to TEPCO restart quick. But who knows? The governor maybe was pressured or changed whatever. That these plant will be restarted again. And also the Genkai power plant, and then always 2 more reactors. They are planning to be restart next January and March. So this, after the tremendous disaster of meltdown, how Japan, that country, restart more reactors. It's really unbelievable. As you know that Abe Prime Minister said to invite Olympic that this disaster under control. It is not, as you know, right? The melted core, people cannot get close, so that we send many robot. All robot broken by the strong radiation. People still don't know exactly the condition and location of the melted core. And this is just for the reactor 2. and reactor 1 and 3 are even more severe condition. And then how the Prime Minister could lie that the condition is under control. Another, I think, glorious news is the Nobel Peace Prize was given to the one organization called ICAN, International Campaign to Abolish Nuclear Weapons. I think this is very good news that people are aware that Peace Prize really going to such an organization. This organization helped to the July's United Nations Treaty of the Prohibition of the Nuclear Weapons. They worked with the Hiroshima and Nagasaki victims. So this is a Peace Prize, not only this ICAN group. This is for the people, the victims of Hiroshima and Nagasaki and the Marshall Islands. Those are people who are destroyed their lives and their livelihood by the nuclear weapons. We are trying to really make the world change. Take the Abe governing party down, and then Abe resign, and never change our pacifist constitution. It's already Japan can send our self-defense force to any war to join, and then change the law that Japan can export the war weapons. And now they are trying to change more and more, create military, and they're using the crisis of the North Korea. So anyway, thank you for coming again. And then this next is Steve Zelter. I like to speak out.
Thank you, Chisu. So we are here today to again demand that the restarting of Japan's nuclear plants be stopped. Japan is faced with a major potential of a major earthquake, with many Fukushimas, not just one, in a major earthquake in Japan. So why is the government wanting to restart these plants? Who do they represent? Are they representing the people of Japan or the people of the world by restarting these plants? These plants are a great danger to people of the world. Nuclear plants are dangerous and deadly, and we have to stop them. So that's why we're here today in front of the Japanese consulate in San Francisco, demanding that the Abe government not restart the plants, demanding that the children and the families be compensated and not be required to move back to Fukushima. The government has said that they've overcome Fukushima and that they've decontaminated Fukushima. How can you decontaminate Fukushima when it's still releasing radioactive material, when they have thousands of tanks of radioactive water, when they're threatening to release all this water into the ocean, into the Pacific Ocean? If they release it in the Pacific Ocean, it will contaminate not just the people of Japan, it will contaminate people throughout the Pacific Rim. We have enough radiation and toxins in our environment without the thousands of tanks of radioactive water in Fukushima. And also you have this madman Trump threatening to destroy North Korea. And Japanese, US, and South Korean military jets are surrounding North Korea. How does this benefit the people of the world? The United States right now has a crisis in Puerto Rico, which is a colony of the United States. 90% of the electricity is out, and we're threatening to bomb North Korea? I think the priorities of this country are screwed up, actually. If we can't even take care of the people of Puerto Rico and put their economy back together, why are we talking about destroying another country? This is part of a war hysteria that this government is creating, like the Abe government is creating a war hysteria. And there's an election that's going to be going on in Japan, and hopefully people of Japan will wake up and vote against the Abe government, because Abe not only wants to restart the nuclear plants, he also wants to get rid of Article 9 of the Japanese Constitution to militarize Japan. We don't need the militarization of Japan. We don't need the militarization of the United States. The United States spends trillions of dollars on military around the world. They build bombers. They want to modernize the nuclear weapons. Is this going to help the people of Japan, the people of the United States? No. It will help the militarists, the bomb makers, those companies who profit from war. This is exactly what we don't want to do. We have to put our resources into education. We have to put our resources into housing and health care. That's where the Japanese government should put their resources. Instead, like the American government, they're cutting back social services. They're cutting back benefits to the people who most need it. And there's a high level of suicides now in Japan. Young people can't get jobs. They can't get regular jobs. They're called tweeters. They have to work part-time jobs. And seniors are starving. Some of them are going hungry. They have to steal. Some of them, they're having trouble surviving. This in a rich capitalist country, which Japan is. So we have to say that people in the world have to wake up. People in the United States are opposed to restarting the nuclear plants. They're for the defense of the families and children of Fukushima. They should not be ordered back to Fukushima. And these recent court decisions that the people should be compensated are good news. They should be compensated. But let's be clear. The Japanese government, the Abe government, is now running TEPCO. That's who's in charge of TEPCO. And this same Japanese government is allowing Yakuza, these gangsters, to subcontract for labor. Now, why would the Japanese government be involved in collusion with the gangsters, the Yakuza? I would say that's criminal for them to do that. They're involved in a criminal syndicate. That is because they don't want protection for the workers who are involved in the cleanup. They don't want to protect their health and safety benefits and conditions. They don't even want to give them proper training when they go into Fukushima, to these dangerous nuclear plants, where even the robots are destroyed by going into the core. So we have to say that this government has to be held accountable. The Abe government has to be held accountable. We have to stop restarting the nuclear plants in Japan. We have to demand that the women and children, the families in Fukushima, have a right to stay out of Fukushima. And it is a lie to say that Fukushima has been decontaminated, which the government says. It also is a lie to say that you can overcome radiation. You can't overcome radiation. There are people still dying from radiation from the Second World War who got radiation, and their families. So solidarity, stop the nukes now. 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 Stop the nukes now.
Stop the nukes now. Thank you, Steve. So a few days ago in Japan, one of the TV station, NN made a wonderful, good documentary about the Ronald Reagan marine ship, those sailors who helped as Tomodachi Saksen. The time had a tsunami. They didn't get any information from the TEPCO, so they got badly contaminated by radiation, and already 9 people died, and there's still many people suffering. They are asking for the TEPCO for the compensation. Anyway, Sako De Angelis is here. She was very moved by the film, so she wants to talk about that. Thank you, Sako.
Thank you, Ochizu-sama. I think I never really saw the news or heard that the United States workers getting so much so much so anyway, I really think that we must get together, the Japanese and American citizens, and no, because American and Japanese government are totally arming us. You know, we cannot. It's so hard to protest either one. You know, because they are so connected, doing this so hard. So I really felt I never saw about the American soldiers or whoever is doing that kind of work. You know, so it was really changed my mind. We really need to get together, the whoever, not that. Oh my God. My language is really disappearing now. But anyway, so let's get together, the Japanese and American and all over the world citizens together and get against every country's government, whoever is trying to do the nuclear and all these industries. Thank you so much. Sorry, my head is getting old.
Thank you. Yeah, the very end of the film, the soldier, one of the soldier who is suffering with the cancer, she said that we are doing this also if this suing is helps to victims of Fukushima. You know, they have so much things for themselves, but also they are thinking of the victims of Fukushima, and I was very moved too. So every month at the rally, we are asking somebody to write a letter to the Prime Minister. This is the 63rd rally, so we already made it actually 63 letters to Prime Minister. And this time I asked, and then Miho Aida wrote. And she's a peace activist and environmentalist, and she goes to Japan often and go Henoko and Takae. And then she joined the protest and sitting on the ground to avoiding the truck going to the base, truck going to build the base. So she knows the situation of Japan, and she actually made a first letter as Japanese, in Japanese. So the first let us read the Japanese original letter. Letter will read by Akio-san. So, we're gonna change the battery, she said. We're gonna change the battery.
Okay.
So, let's chant without any microphone. Shut down all the nukes! 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 You know the consulate is the 21st floor. So let us our voice reach to the 21st floor. Shut down all the nukes! You don't mean it on purpose, but you're fake. Shut down all the nukes! You don't mean it on purpose. like to read the original Japanese letter to Abe 首相。
日本国総理大臣安倍首相殿、2017年10月11日前略。毎月11日は東海沖地震によって犠牲となった多くの御霊に深く哀悼の意を表し、そして一日も早い復興を実現させる誓いを首相が捧げられることをアメリカから期待しております。福島の悲劇を二度と繰り返さないようにと願うのは万民共通です。そのためには世界から原発をなくし、核に頼らない安全で平和なエネルギーの確保が求められています。そのために日本が果たすべき責任は重く、首相も十分ご存知かと思います。その日本が果たすべき最も重要な責任について首相にお願いがあります。2018年7月には現行日米原子力協定の30年の有効期限が到来します。この原子力協定は日米安全保障条約や日米地位協定と同じで、日本という国が米国の属国として米国の思惑の枠組みの中で原子力をやることを決めたものです。福島の悲劇が今なお続くのも、核燃料サイクルを日本はやめたいと思ってもやめられないのも、東電事故で学んだ教訓を生かして日本から原発をなくすことができないのも、この原子力協定があるからです。今私の住むアメリカでは、アメリカ至上主義のトランプ政権が誕生し、アメリカ世界支配の強化、同盟国に対するさらなる従属を求める構造づくりがなされています。この構造の中で日本は今まで以上に利用され、捨てられる立場になると私は考えています。これまでもアメリカは日本に原子力を売りつけ、日本の生産ラインを動かし、燃料を売りつけることで莫大な利益を得てきました。危険は日本任せで、利益はアメリカが取るという利用のされ方です。だから事故が起こってもアメリカは責任を取ることもなく、利益だけを懐に入れることができるのです。利用され捨てられるというこの構造を一国の首相としてどうかなくしてください。そのために2018年には原子力協定を破棄してください。破棄できない場合はアメリカ至上主義を助長することになり、日本の安全保障に大きな危害を及ぼすことになります。復興を実現させる誓いの中で、2018年には原子力協定を破棄するという宣言をすることが、犠牲となった多くの御霊が最も望むことだと考えます。勇気あるご決断をぜひ安倍総理にお願いいたしたく、アメリカから手紙を送らせていただきました。サンフランシスコ、相田美穂。Thank you.
Thank you, Akio-san. Unfortunately, Miho Aida couldn't attend today because she has full time. So this original Japanese letter, Yoko Clark translated in English. So I like to Yoko read letter.
Hi everyone, friends. We are here again. I'll be just reading the translation of the letter that Miho-san wrote, and Akio-chan just read the original in Japanese. It's just a translation in English, so we can all understand what it said. So she said, "Dear Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, we gather together here in San Francisco on the 11th of every month to express our deepest condolence to the many victims of the Tohoku earthquake catastrophe. We do hope that you, Mr. Abe, will also share our sentiments and actualize a real recovery of the region. It is a universal and deeply felt hope among people to never allow a repeat of the tragedy of Fukushima. In order to fulfill that goal, it is imperative for Japan to eliminate
all of its nuclear reactors and to develop energy sources that are safe, environmentally benign, and independent of nuclear power. Japan has a grave responsibility in executing this aim, as you must be well aware. I have an important request for you regarding this dire responsibility for Japan to undertake. In July 2018, the current US-Japan Nuclear Energy Cooperative Agreement will complete its 30-year cycle. That agreement defined Japan's relative position to the US as subservient, with Japan carrying out its nuclear power and energy policy as a vassal nation of the US. This hierarchical framework is exactly the same as that of the US-Japan Status of Forces Agreement. The main reason why the Fukushima tragedy is continuing, why Japan is not able to stop its dependency on nuclear fuel production, and why Japan cannot shut down its nuclear power plants. All of these issues exist because of the US-Japan Nuclear Energy Cooperation Agreement. In the US, where I currently live, the Trump administration, which insists on American supremacy, has come to power. It is busy trying to strengthen America's world domination and to subjugate the countries which have been traditionally allies with the US. Because of this thought pattern, I believe that Japan will be taken advantage of initially and then dumped as useless by the US. In previous decades, the US has forced Japan to buy nuclear plants and then has manipulated Japan's nuclear industry operations in order to gain enormous profits. The risks have fallen upon the shoulders of the Japanese government, while the profits have enriched the US corporations. This corrupt system has allowed the US to be free of a nuclear disaster responsibility and yet gain enormous profits. This despicable structure in which Japan is used and abandoned must come to a stop. We implore you as Prime Minister of Japan to take the lead in putting an end to this practice. We ask that you cancel the Nuclear Energy Cooperation Agreement in 2018. Otherwise, the continuation of that agreement will result in the encouragement of Trump's American supremacist ideology, which will in turn gravely harm Japan's peace and security in the years to come. As part of your pledge to bring recovery to the Fukushima area, declaring the cancellation of the US-Japan Nuclear Energy Cooperation Agreement would be the primary item that the disaster victims are longing for. From my perspective, writing here in the US, I hope for your truly courageous decision. Sincerely, October 11th, 2017 in San Francisco, Miho Aida.
Thank you, Yoko-san. So I agree, Miho Aida, that this US and Japan nuclear treaty must be terminated. Japan should be independent and free from the US, and we must judge the correctly. But in Japan, when United Nations put up that treaty of the prohibition of the nuclear weapons, and then this September, about 50 countries signed on this treaty. But Japan refused to sign. As you know, that Japan is under the umbrella of the U.S. nuclear umbrella. Japan is supporting the nuclear weapons, and of course, U.S., England, and those big countries who has nuclear weapons. Of course, they didn't even bother. They didn't sign. Even they didn't join for the discussion. And then India, who has already nuclear weapons, Japan had a strong nuclear treaty this summer, and then tried to export Japanese nuclear reactor to India. And this cycle must be stopped because we now know that nuclear power plants are not for the human beings. Once this disaster and meltdown happened, and we never can contain, after 6.5 years, please look at the Fukushima Daiichi. How many people in this world know about this condition? I had a very interesting article from The Guardian. This one was published to the March, the 6th anniversary, but this guy, Justin McCurry, wrote, and let's see, Mitsuhiko Tanaka, who is a former Hitachi nuclear engineer, accused Abe and the other government officials of playing down the severity of the decommissioning challenge in an attempt to win public support for the restart of nuclear reactors across the country. And then Mr. Tanaka said, Abe said Fukushima was under control when he went overseas to promote the Tokyo Olympics, but he never said anything like that in Japan. Anyone here in Japan, right? Anyone here could see that the situation was not under control. And the next line that Mr. Tanaka said like this: if people of Abe's stature repeat something often enough, it becomes accepted as the truth. Lies and lies and lies and lies, and this status of the high authority, prime minister and governors, congress people, and the university professors, they said it, then somehow people believe that as truth. Japan, by my experience and then by custom, that we are so weak for the authority. Whatever the school we learned and then teacher said it, textbook mentioned that is the truth. But we know that the government lies now. Many people have been know that, but this March 11th, 2011, after meltdown, government lies, TEPCO lies. We really cannot believe. And then now it said they try to change our beautiful pacifist constitution. I cannot accept. We should not allow the constitution change. It's already, one foot is a step into the militarism, but we cannot both feet to go into militarism and ruin the Japan. We have to still give a beautiful Japan to our children, to our grandchildren. It's getting shorter and shorter for our rally because the attendant and not to speak out many people. Okay, but so this is the announcement. October 22nd, Dan Marlin's celebration of life and art. You know Dan Marlin? He often stood here and speak out. He's a true activist. Nobel Prize is part of him to go. Anyway, he's we don't call it a memorial or anything, but we call it celebration because he's also artist. It's March, October 22nd, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. in Berkeley, near the Berkeley Bowl on Shattuck. Hope many people attend and then we celebrate his life and art. So, again, this is the 11th monthly rally. Of course, we are going on to the November 11th rally again here, 275 Battery Street, because here there is the SF Japanese consulate here. That's the reason we are here stand, because they are the window of the government. We have right to speak out. We don't like Abe governing. That's why we are standing here. So thank you very much, and I'd like to see you again 1 month later. Thank you. Shut down all the nukes! Shut